Guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to make a vinyl wristlet strap. Now you may have already made a wristlet strap out of a different type of material like cotton or canvas, but today we're going to elevate this design and learn how to make a vinyl strap, and we're even going to talk about this guy. This is the rivet press. So in today's video, we're going to learn start to finish how to make a beautiful wristlet strap and actually set it with a rivet. Now, most people don't have an industrial sewing machine, and making something like this is when things get a little bit dicey when it comes to your domestic sewing machine. We're going to be going through 12 layers of vinyl, and that's a lot. And most domestic machines, including this one, which is, quite an expensive model, it cannot handle it, and you risk breaking your domestic sewing machine. So if you're not ready to do that investment, take that leap into industrial sewing, then it's great to invest in a really good rivet press, because then you can kind of take those little shortcuts and you don't have to sew and risk damaging your machine. So if you enjoy this tutorial, this is just one of the segments that I have in my newest bag making basics course. So I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below. So if you really want to get into learning how to make bags, how to customize them yourself, and be able to have the confidence to sew up any bag pattern you come across, then I definitely recommend that course, which is down below. So I made this one in this video. As you can see, it is beautiful. It is a black wristlet strap, super strong and durable. And I didn't actually sew it onto my hardware. We are actually going to talk about this guy. This is the Cam Rivet Press. This is a great rivet press, and it is a good investment if you're not ready to dive into the world of industrial sewing machines. We're also going to talk about the rivets, because rivets are a little bit of an intimidating topic. I know it took me a long time to finally dive into rivets because I just have no idea what I was doing, and it just looked like it was too complicated. So, and then we also talk about the fact that these come with adapters to do different things. So this one actually comes with the adapter that you need to be able to set your rivets. And we'll talk about this in later lessons, all about the different adapters that you can get with the Cam Snap Press. But the one that I bought is the most versatile, and I don't really need anything more than this model right here. Okay, so with all that being said, let's get into the tutorial. Now I have this thin upholstery vinyl. I have my rivets here. You just need one male and one female, and I will have that listed so you know which size that I like to use the most. I have a 1-inch swivel clasp, and then I'm also using some double-sided tape. I got this at Waywack. That is a store in the United States, and it is a really, really sticky. As you can see, that there's stuff stuck to it all around because it's just that good. Now I'm going to have some examples of what size piece of fabric you need for the size wristlet strap that you want to make. So check that PDF down below. And I've already cut out mine. This is 13.5 inches by 4 inches. So this is going to be a 1-inch wide strap. We're going to fold it 4 times. I'm going to be using my double-sided tape and my ruler to prepare my strap before I sew it. So what I like to do first is I like to measure down the center of my piece of fabric. And draw a line. Now, this is going to work the same way if you want to make it a longer strap too. So just keep this in mind that this technique works for longer straps or short wristlet straps. Now what I'm going to do is I want to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to place it next to the line on either side. Now you can buy a wider double-sided tape and just lay that straight across your intersecting point. I have a 1/4 inch, so it just depends on what you want to do, but some people choose to buy a 1/2 inch tape and then they use less tape. So now I'm going to press it down and I'm going to peel off the backing. And now I'm going to press my fabric over. I'm going to fold it over right next to that line. And I'm just going to slowly go down. Just like that, and press it down really good. And then I'm going to turn it over, and then I will again bring the fabric to that line. Now I want there to be a little space in between the two lines, so don't have the fabric butting up against each other. So just have like a little row down the center. Now I'm going to take my double-sided tape again, and I will place another piece Now, some people might not want to do this last piece of tape, but if you're a beginner, I definitely recommend it, just because vinyl will not fold on its own, so using the tape really helps. And now we're going to fold it again to create our strap. Okay, so now you can see that my strap is nice and thick, and we can test it through our hardware to make sure that it is the right size that you want it to be. So now we're going to go ahead and sew your strap. Now you can have fun with this. You can do decorative stitches. You can do multiple lines of stitches. You can do your standard top stitching on either side. That is a normal kind of strap design, or you can do several rows of stitches. It's really up to you. It's your strap. You can design it the way that you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this with my regular sewing machine. Because my fabric isn't too thick, we shouldn't have a problem. Now once you start getting into creating your strap, that's when things get really, really thick, and that's why we're going to do a rivet instead of sewing your strap into an actual wristlet strap. Okay, so when I like to sew my wristlet straps, I like to increase my stitch length to about a 3 or 3.5. You can just play around with your machine and see what stitch length you prefer. And now I'm going to insert my strap and begin sewing a 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, so as you can see, that looks really good. Now what I like to do is, as you saw me take it out of the machine, now I'm going to sew the other side. Instead, you might feel like you want to take it and then flip it around so that you're sewing on the same side, but sometimes that warps your strap. I can't tell you why, but this is just what I've learned. So what you're going to do is you're going to sew on the other side. So I like to keep my needle in the center and then just kind of guide it 1/8 of an inch from that needle position. And I always like to have my fingers kind of stationary like this, and then the strap will glide between your fingers. Just kind of hold it in place and you shouldn't have a problem. That really does help give you a more consistent seam allowance, and I've been doing that for a long time, and I think that it really helps to make it look nice and even. Now I'm just going to give you a closer look at a strap that I already made using the stitch method, so no rivet, and as you can see, that is pretty much all you need when it comes to this strap. The issue is that we are going through 12 layers of fabric, and this machine cannot handle that. So that's why if you're not ready to invest in an industrial sewing machine, investing in a good rivet press is far cheaper, and you are able to go through many layers of fabric. So this is how I did it for a long time, as you can see, and I did not have an issue not using rivets, but I do have the industrial sewing machine, so it really was, I mean, this is nothing to an industrial sewing machine going through 12 layers. And these are all different thicknesses of vinyl, and absolutely no issue when it came to that. Okay, so now we're going to use our rivet press. This is the one that I have. It is from the Cam company, and I bought it from Emmeline Bags, but you can also get it straight from Cam. They also have like a little bundle deal, so I'll have links to where you can get this. But this is a great one. Beware of the ones that are on Amazon. Some of them are good, some of them are not. Okay, so we have our rivet press, and it comes with an adapter that sets your rivet and then one that punches holes. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that out super quick. So the top screws in and the bottom just sets in. And this is a really good hole puncher. You can also get handheld punches, and I'll also provide links for those ones. Sometimes I use those ones just because I don't like having to switch this out all the time. And those ones are just with the hand. But if you want something that uses your whole arm, maybe your wrists aren't so great, then this is a great option. So what I'm going to do first with my strap is I'm going to use my rotary cutter, and I'm going to just even up the ends in case they aren't perfectly even, because one of the ends will be exposed. And if your stitches are not perfect, then you can kind of cut those off as well. Okay. So I like to have my strap 13 inches in length, but I gave you 13 and a half just so that you're able to cut off 1/4 of an inch from each end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our strap and we're going to fold it in half. And then we're going to fold the other half onto itself. Now we're going to install our little hardware here before we do that. I'll have a clip here. So you're going to take your end and you're going to kind of butt it up against the hardware. And then you're going to fold over 1 inch of the strap over top. Just like that. And you can just kind of clip that into place if your clips will let you. It is pretty thick with all this vinyl. If not, then you can go straight to punching your hole. I'm only going to do 1 rivet, but that is of course a design choice, a strength choice. You can make your strap a little bit longer so that you have space to put 2 rivets. But now I'm going to take that and I'm just going to center my little hole puncher, my big hole puncher. And as I go down, I can kind of center it and make sure that it's good before I actually press down. And then you're going to want to give yourself a little bit of leverage. And you can hear the cutting. And you want it to go through all of those layers. Okay. So now we can take our little rivet and we can put the the male end through first, and then the female end it's not going to go through all the layers. That means your rivet isn't long enough. And we don't want to go through all the layers. We just want to be able to see it emerge from the other end. So this rivet is too small, and this is a good teaching moment that if it's too small, do not force it. You need longer rivets. So I have 9mm by 10mm, and those ones are a little bit longer. These ones are 6mm by 8. These ones are 6mm by 8, so these ones are not going to be long enough. They're great for the smaller things, but for this, it's just not going to work. So I'm going to use my 9mm by 8mm, and I'll put that through. And now I can see that it is just starting to emerge, and that's perfect. That's what we want. We don't want it sticking all the way through. We just want to be able to just see it and be able to put that female end on and then push it with our fingers, and then you might hear a little snap, just a little click. Okay, now we're going to switch our rivet press back to the actual rivet press. And the hole puncher is a little bit more difficult to remove at the bottom. You need to lift it up and then push with your finger up the bottom. And then we'll put that setter back in. Okay, so now you're just going to take your little wristlet strap, put it so that the bottom rivet is nestled into the bottom of the press. And then we'll come down, making sure you can go down slow, making sure that it's all underneath there. And then again, give it a good press. There you go. You might want to stand up for this. And it should be indented into your fabric to show that it is super secure. So now you have a vinyl wrist strap. And these are great for even the current bags that you own now. So if you wanted to take something and, you know, take off the straps and add a wristlet strap, you can make a bunch of these in different sizes, different colors, and then you just have them for all of your bags.